And you are here floating on this lovely boat and you're enjoying this lovely dream into La La Land until you realize that this boat is actually your bed and you are on a river that's floating to nowhere. And sadly, that's the reality with most families today in some of the most hard hit areas that are affected by the floods in this country today.
That's a very pertinent topic currently in Kenya.
Yeah?
You can see everybody is running helter skelter like a hen that has been chopped off its head.
Headless chicken, huh?
Yeah, even the government is trying to run and try to mobilize resources. It's quite a thing because I think within just a week, the numbers coming in from Red Cross are heavy.
It's
Heavy.
crazy. It's crazy.
We've
The
lost around
effects.
45
45
45
fatalities. And not that's
lives,
just, just
25
numbers, man.
injured.
Those are human lives lost.
Actually, when you talk about the figures,
Yes.
I was watching Citizen TV this morning, and Red Cross have given out official figures. By the look of it, then you realize how serious the issue of flooding
crazy,
is.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're talking about 13,000, 13,000 over 13,000 which are displaced persons. You have 26 counties which are affected.
Sad.
You're talking about 26 schools which have been affected. So basically, next week, when we are expecting kids to go back to school, then out of these 26 schools, where will the kids go? I mean, it's crazy.
Ramifications of the floods, and that forms the topic of their discussion today because we feel it's something that's absolutely critical to not just our survival but to the processes and plans that could be made to avert some of those effects. And so that's going to be the platform for our podcast today. And this is yours truly, Byron Adera, ex-Pioneer Kenya Special Forces operator. Your main man, the fitness guru and all. But most importantly, we are doing this under the BA Challenge platform. And with me here is my main man, Mulamamba. He's actually happy because he's trying to get ideas of crocodile farming within the lakes of Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Byron. It's a pleasure to be in this platform. Let's continue to share, assist where we can.
People are going to get confused. So, this guy is Edward Babuya Bonanya Major retired, and that's why you can be happy that the making of military officer is back with the bang. But let's get to it. So you highlighted, man, some crazy statistics right there. And those are not just numbers, as I said. Those are fatalities, those are lives that are lost.
Yes.
And these are deaths that can be preventable. Because ideally, if it's floods within your estate, it's floods within your county, trust me, there's things that can be done. And so we should have a look at a number of things that I feel you pretty much highlighted in brief, but we can get to them. I mean, causes of floods. Then we can look at how then we can prevent, and so to speak, get out of harm's way. Then we can have a look at, I think you really pretty much just ran through them, but can you highlight to us a number of?
I would wish to separate them in a way because geographically Kenya has diverse attributes.
Yes.
So you are looking at how the floods are affecting people in the rural areas and then in the urban areas. So basically I have an experience with the rural areas because I come from Garsen, Lower Tana, huko kwa
Walamamba.
Yeah, you are talking of River Tana breaking its banks. So when you come to the rural areas, most of the rural areas are affected majorly by extreme weather conditions. You are talking of flooded rivers, which eventually break banks and go into farmlands. I remember back in our days, it used to be a blessing when the floods come because they fill in the Oxbow lakes. Because by that time you are having the Seven Fork dams being opened to release the excess water that has risen from the extreme rains that are raining. So basically, when you are talking of the causes, of course, there's the extreme weather conditions. The weatherman has already given an alert.
People refuse to move.
Yeah, people have refused to move because we are being told that April will be the epitome or rather will be the culminating point where we'll be receiving so many millimeters of rainfall
Yes.
in a day. So extreme weather conditions. The other reason for flooding, I would say they are caused by extreme weather.
Yeah.
When you're talking about breaking of banks by the rivers, you're talking again about management of the Seven Forks dam system in Kenya.
Yeah.
The management of it, again, we must look into it. The government has to look into it. If we are receiving excess water out of the rain, then these dams were constructed way back in the late 70s, 80s. I think it's high time for them to be looked into. So the management also of these dams is, by extension, a causal factor to flooding, especially in the lower areas.
Yes.
Like for example, in Tana River. The moment they open Kindaruma, definitely
the effect is downstream.
we
know what you're talking about.
We feel the effect in Tana River.
It's quite, you can draw parallels here. I come from Sirikali side here. So it's not a neighbor, but we ride on the slopes of Nadi Hill. So, but you know the Kano Plains. So same thing. Nyando River, of course, from the Nadi escarpments and all. So Kano Plains are so just the way the relief is in terms of just the topography.
Yeah.
So most of these areas that are plains, so to speak, gently undulating and almost flat. There's no flat, but that's what geography defines plains as. Are prone to flooding because of just that very fact that the rivers can burst their banks, as they're saying. And since time immemorial, since
it's a perennial problem.
Absolutely, a young boy, I grew up in that. You cut off and you can go to the market center and you could, hear of adults saying, "Oh, we were eating water up to throat level or neck level." But it's because of those very, very reasons. The ring dikes and they are not constructed, so the rivers break their banks. So one thing happening some far off land in the highlands, and the effects of flooding will be felt in the lowlands and its plains.
In fact, I think if I could cut you shorter, when we are talking about this extreme weather, then there's a major conversation that is taking place globally.
True.
About the climate change. Climate change. I think that is
what brings about climate change.
Yeah, this is an issue. I think even Kenya, we have a target of increasing our forest cover.
Yeah.
Because on the other hand, we are receiving excessive rain,
and then the next
season you are having
drought. People are dying. Rain is killing people. We pray for rain.
So basically, this is also I think another vital topic that has to be considered, because the volumes are going high by the day.
Yes.
You are staying in a drought period.
Yeah.
And when the rain comes, it comes excessively.
Yes.
So instead of it being a blessing, it becomes a curse.
A blessing in disguise.
A blessing in disguise. So I think I had forgotten that issue of the climate change,
which is pretty critical. So ideally, what you're trying to mention here is that as much as we are dealing with the now effects, what you're facing now, people should expand their awareness on some of these things that are hot on the table right now in terms of the effects of global warming, because we are feeling it right now, the extreme weather conditions. One moment, and where we are actually being found flat-footed, and now we've seen, and you've seen the effects on even the infrastructure, transport lines.
Yeah.
People are not able. Yesterday, we were traveling to towards the Ngatatek. We weren't able. It took quite some time to actually get to, even just to get on the roads. You'd pretty much just circumvent rivers, and because the roads were actually flooded. And ideally, that's what now maybe brings us to the next point: urban centers.
Yeah.
So you were talking about it, the urban jungles.
The urban jungles.
Yes.
The urban jungles. Everybody else is running to Nairobi.
Yes.
We are seeing the urban jungle, unlike the green jungle, growing.
Yes.
We are talking about the urban jungle now expanding. So we are having all these estates that are coming up, private developers. Now, the question that we all must ask ourselves, are our systems, or rather the infrastructures, when we are talking about the sewerage lines, when we are talking about the roads and canals and water drainage systems, are they able to contain all this development of the urban jungle? Because essentially what we are saying, we are reducing the land that is available for the rain and water, surface water, to percolate. So now we are talking about paved
Surface
roads.
runoff.
You are having estates where it's all cabro, it's all cement. So all the water that is being gathered at the rooftops comes down. But where is it going to? So you wake up in the morning, you go to the gate, you find a manhole that has been overwhelmed by the excess water.
And the spillage and all the effects of, say, the diseases that and I had a sense that you were going to talk about the river mover, man. If your house is constructed next to the
one of the funny politicians who said if the problem is the river, we can shift the river.
And that's exactly what you have that feeling.
I don't know what was going on through the mind. Maybe he had a point, but was not brought out clearly.
Yeah, and we could be laughing about the this, but then it's as serious as it gets.
There's also another thing. There's also another thing. Now that you mentioned about moving the river.
Yes.
Encroachment into wetlands.
Yes, the riparian areas.
Wetlands. In Nairobi, I mean, look at a place like Kasarani.
Yes.
Kasarani is basically a marsh area. It's a marshy area. You go all the way through Thika Road. All these areas are lowlands and marshes. You can easily tell by the reeds that are growing, the water that collects in a certain area. Yeah. And this is a problem that was created by man, by us. I would say part of the problem is
poor development, poor urban planning,
corruption, because essentially
people are grabbing up to
if it's a wetland
areas, river or stream lines or stuff like that.
I mean, the rules are very clear when you go to NEMA.
Yeah.
When you go to this agency for management of water resources, the rules are very clear. What is the distance that we end construction and any development so that we give the river some space? But we have the problem with Mathare. You are literally constructing a house that is overhanging the river.
This is what you don't know. In this nation, then, you just mentioned it, that the distance between, someone constructing a house right on top of a building is as close as the next paper in their pockets.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is what separates the whole big agenda, and that's corruption. And the Pope came here the other day, if you all remember, and the Pope said that corruption kills. I mean, people thought that this is quite a misplaced kind of statement, but now we can see that because of our poor urban planning and because we have charlatans, someone dropped that word the other day, in charge of serious departments like engineering, quality, quality surveyors, and all these people that are, and NEMA guys, all these people that are charged with the most serious agenda of protecting lives in terms of safety, in terms of security, in terms of all these things that need to be observed. To control sanity in terms of development, they don't happen because of corruption.
Now, let me
ask you, because we also saw in terms of interventions, perhaps, because that is what people need to start to wrap their minds and brains around. We keep it simple. We also the Braganza boats that are all over the place now, and trucks shoveling off water with. It's more like trying to drain an ocean with a teaspoon. But is that the best of a response? And I'm talking about it in terms of what you discuss around the topics of, emergency preparedness and management. Because there's a whole rigmarole of things that you actually need to do well before disaster strikes. Yeah. Because when you wait for disaster to strike, it's too late. So there's a lot of things that I feel people need to actually understand in terms of just at that very strategic level, so that the leaders that be it could be the governor, it could be all these people at different levels, or even at national level, need to actually wrap their minds around some of these strategies that need to be in place well before disaster. It could be floods, it could be uncontrolled fires tomorrow, it could be a typhoon, it could be whatever, and we've seen nations bounce back pretty quickly. Japan is quite right in smack in the middle of the most volatile of areas. We know the examples you've given about Nairobi being part of marshland, but Holland, Netherlands, they reclaim the sea.
And they have, over time, they have learned tough lessons, and currently they are not affected by floods.
So what do you think should be done in terms of those preparedness, the things you do beforehand, to alleviate some of these suffering that are preventable otherwise.
I think all the dosages
Yes.
are in the cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
All the dosages are in the cabinet. When I talk about this, I'm talking about all the solutions being kept in a cabinet somewhere,
Yes.
but not being utilized.
On the table.
There have been commissions and reports. The laws are there, but nobody is following them.
Yes.
That is one thing. So basically, when you ask me, what should we do? I think as a government, then they must be thinking of, have we implemented the rules and regulations
In terms of controlling
in terms
development?
of controlling developments,
In terms of, yes, can we have
encroachment to
drainage?
wetlands,
Yes.
in
Allow
terms
for-
of urban planning, because urban planning is supposed to be continuous. It's a continuum that as long as we are here on earth,
Yes.
every day, I mean, back in our villages,
Yes.
you live with your father and mother in a single house, but by the time you are becoming of age or you are initiated into adulthood,
Yeah.
then the old man says, this guy cannot stay in this house anymore.
Let's spill over and you
Byron,
find your own.
Byron, you'll be constructing your room over there.
Absolutely.
That is, what are we saying?
Succession planning, proper organization,
and expansion.
Expansion.
Basically.
Yes.
So are we having that in Kenya? If this system, the sewage system, the piping system, the drainage system was in place in the 1970s,
Yes.
is it able to hold the population right now? So it means somebody somewhere is in a very deep coma, not even sleep,
Yes.
in a very deep coma, sleeping
Walking Dead.
in the Department of Planning,
Sleep at the
urban
switch,
planning.
goofing off, right?
Yeah, so that is one thing.
But beyond that, and assuming we had the proper drainage in place,
Yes.
assuming we had that, and for sure, for fact's sake, we have, and you could see, I mean, you drive around these roads, you see some, but our bad habits,
Yes.
Kenyans, you drive down the road, someone
Culture.
blinds you, it's just thrown something out of the
Ignorance
window.
culture.
Yes, and it's so annoying, to say the least. And these are the same things that come to hit us, our soft sides. So I feel part of the responsibility is also on the individuals. Just normal,
The other day,
common sense. Yeah.
The other day we saw the El Nino alert,
Yes.
and the county government of Nairobi was showcasing all the efforts trying to unblock sewerage lines, drainage systems. But then, what has happened? And part of what has happened
Yes.
is what you are talking about, the ignorance culture.
Yes.
Because we are dumping our waste into the same sewerage lines, but Waswahili wanasema majuto ni mjukuu anakuja kinyume. So
that's a hot one.
we blocked these systems, and now the water has no area to flow to, and it is finding its way into our homes, into our playing areas, into our estates. So that bad culture that has been cultivated over time. I mean, even a simple thing as a bottle. You find somebody driving or just walking.
Yeah.
Somebody takes yogurt, doesn't care where he or she is throwing it. Hiyo ni kazi ya kanjo. Somebody will come and sweep. But it is a mess that will come to mess you up later.
Absolutely.
And that is what we are currently observing.
You
in
are
Kenya.
absolutely right, man. In terms of what Ayn Rand did say in 1961, and of course the book came out, he had a couple of staff went into this university and he pulled a rug under the feet of the lecturer and he said, you can evade reality, yes, Ayn Rand, but you cannot evade the consequences of evading reality. The men that are behind the weather reports did say, and as he said, they said right about now in April and May, we are going to be having quite a bit of rains and of course that was a for, and they say when you're forewarned you are forearmed, but we didn't get armed. People are rocking up with teaspoons to drain oceans, and people are rocking up with bad practices in terms of just the whole sum total of strategies to control and or arrest disasters such as this. And there's been untold suffering on the part of the citizenry. People have died, the statistics are crazy, and the property has been lost. You're seeing people scaling roofs and people walking precariously on top of roofs in some areas like in Mathare and other very badly affected places. The transport lines are deeply affected today. Schools are opening next week, and everybody seems to be, shooting and swimming in 10 feet of murky waters and not knowing where to go. We are navigating. Kenya Power is disconnecting electricity. Guys are starving. Today there's too much water. Tomorrow there's too much drought. What are we gonna be doing next so that we alleviate this kind of suffering, and so that we are also prepared very well in terms of how we just do all the good things, best practice. And as we said, there's best practice out there, but it starts as this famous, past president Uhuru did say in terms of security, and we discussed it, that security starts the same as your preparation and good habits that are able to get us out of harm's way. So it could be that bottle, the water, the yogurt you talked about, or whatever it is that you are trashing and you just throwing carelessly, away after you're done with it. That's gonna be causing you trouble tomorrow. It could be you carelessly jumping into an already overloaded truck, and you must get to work at whatever cost or to whatever. Life is far too serious to risk in just some of these expeditions, like driving through a flooded road, and you end up in a ditch and you end up dying. I remember when they're asking a swimmer and swimmer when you're doing the
swimmer and swimmer.
Yes, then you plunge yourself in the deep end of the pool. This is not going to be that little test that they did to us years back as you're doing the selection in Qatar.
I remember one of the guys. When we asked swimmer on and swimmer, so because it was a selection period.
But he has to look like he's able to.
He said swimmer because he was afraid that if I say I'm a non-swimmer, then I will not get this opportunity. So he said swimmer. So the guy dives into the pool. A minute later, the guy is not resurfacing. And then his instructors are Rushe Bimbo, So these are realities now. Nairobians now must learn to swim.
Absolutely.
We've seen boats now cruising.
The Braganza boats.
Yeah.
So life and this water right about now is not going to give you an opportunity to be asked those questions, whether you're a swimmer or non-swimmer. The water is an equalizer. It doesn't care about whether you're a swimmer and swimmer. Do not push your luck too far. It could be the last thing that you see, jumping out of that vehicle or jumping into a fast-flowing river for whatever reason. So take good care of yourself. Stay safe, because we all do care. One life lost is one too many. Already we're suffering. And so for us, right here, from where we're sitting, as the BA Challenge, we are doing the deeds. And you are invited to be with us as we are taking on this serious task of getting guys to breathe easier.
Sure.
Live simple so that others may simply do that. You know what you're going to be doing? Tomorrow, we are going to be getting out there to help guys with this kind of information, create awareness, but most importantly, distribute food stuff. It takes some kind of relief to these people, the little that we have. And so you can join us. It's all here in the numbers that are floating on this. So you can donate. If it's cash, pay into this tail number, and we will account for every coin. Ideally, we'll shop for guys. They don't have clothing and they don't have even basic stuff.
And we should actually encourage. You don't necessarily need this platform.
Yes.
If you see a neighbor who is in need, share. Provide warm clothing. You are staying in second floor and your ground floor guy is
all in
waters.
10 feet of water and it's come to your place. This is the time we need to encourage good neighborliness. Whenever you're going through some pain, someone else could be going through more pain than you. And so join the BA Challenge as we are doing this tomorrow. A lot of the guys behind us are backing us up. There's just the two of us presented here today, but there's quite some
whole team.
Yes, so you'll see us tomorrow getting up there. Tap onto these numbers, call us, and let's do this, guys. This is gonna be, as I said, be a brother's keeper. My man, you have anything else to say?
Nothing more. Stay safe, be aware, stay connected, know the hazard areas, know the caution areas. Stay safe in this floody season.
Absolutely, yes. You can evade reality, but we cannot evade the consequences of evading reality. Stay aware, keep safe. Let's do this.